should let it be right now.
Welcome back to the show. Please go cast your vote for this week's Ball Penis Award winner. Or loser, depending on how you look at it, by going to the Doug Stewart Show Facebook chat group and casting your vote. The number to the show is 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedugstewartshow.com. Sure you've heard, but JT3, John Thompson III, is out at Georgetown as the head basketball coach. I'm trying to look at his record here, man. Georgetown under John Thompson III is 278 and 151. He's been the coach of Georgetown since 2004. Damn, that's a long-ass time. I would have never realized, and I guess maybe I would have. John Thompson's been the head coach. John Thompson III, Big John Thompson's little boy. John Thompson III has been the head coach of Georgetown for 14 years, or 13 years, if my math is correct. His record at Georgetown, 278 and 151. That's not a bad clip, but the problem is that the bar was set so high by his old man that if you ain't winning championships or at least in Sweet 16s or Elite 8s, man, then you're not doing a good job. Yeah, I mean, and listen, I've always said I'm a Georgetown fan, man. Became a Georgetown fan when John Thompson II was there. Big John, they call him. And, man, it's been a tough, long 13 years as far as Georgetown basketball. And the thing about Georgetown basketball is it's king. Like, there's nothing else. Like, until a couple of years ago, and a lot of y'all probably don't even know this, did y'all know Georgetown has a football team? Right. Right. Like, I don't even know how I became aware of that, but Georgetown has a football team. And I'm trying to pull it up right now. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. I'm trying to look at some of the teams that they play. So it looks like they play kind of like in the Ivy League. I don't know if they're in the Ivy League, but they play Princeton. They play Lehigh. Lehigh in an Ivy League school, I believe. Bucknell, Colgate. So these are all of the schools with high academic achievers. Like, they play all of them schools, Princeton and Yale and all of those schools. But until a couple of years ago, I didn't even know Georgetown had a football team. But that just speaks to the volume. That speaks volumes about how big the basketball brand is there at that school. And it was all built by John Thompson II, Little John's daddy. And they just haven't done enough, man. So I don't have a problem with this. I'm waiting to hear what the response is from Daddy about his son being fired. And you got to remember also, they just built like this training facility for the basketball team, like $60, $70 million that bears John Thompson II's name, Big John. And so he is Georgetown basketball. And so I'm kind of, I'm good with it, I guess, because they haven't won enough games. The times that they have made it to the tournament under John Thompson III, they've been a quick out, and that shouldn't be the case for such a historic brand in basketball. Now, it wasn't historic until John Thompson II got there, Big John got there, but it has been for the last 30 years, since the mid-'80s when Patrick Ewing was there. Speaking of Patrick Ewing, Georgetown officials plan to consider, the way the story goes, the head coaching candidacy of the university's legendary basketball program to Patrick Ewing. That's right. Ewing, the associate head coach of the Charlotte Hornets, has been an NBA assistant coach for 15 years. That's some bullshit right there. Yeah. Patrick Ewing been an assistant in the NBA for 15 years, which I don't understand how that could happen, man. I mean, that'll tell you the world that we living in. That'll tell you the world we living in, man. Like, how can you be an assistant for 15 years, one of the all-time greatest college basketball players of all times, NBA Hall of Famer, even though you never won a ring? I mean, that's just more so of being a New York Knick than more than anything else. Have been an assistant coach for 15 years and never had an opportunity to coach an NBA team. His son, Patrick Ewing Jr., was a member of the Hoyas coaching staff, and Ewing has been a fiercely loyal supporter of Thompson and his father, John Thompson. Ewing was emotional over Thompson's dismissal on Thursday. Sources who spoke to him told The Vertical, that's the name of this publication I'm reading from, and it appeared to be immediately undecided about his desire to become involved in Georgetown's search process as a candidate. Once again, Ewing was a 3-time All-American for the Hoyas and a 1984 national champion. As the number 1 overall pick in the 1985 NBA draft to the New York Knicks, Ewing's illustrious playing career is synonymous with the start and ultimate height of the Hoyas' rise to prominence. Some of Ewing's most trusted professional and personal friends are beginning to encourage him to consider the job and have already started brainstorming candidates to create an elite college coaching staff to surround and support him, sources are saying. So here's the thing about it, man. There's a big difference between coaching college basketball and the NBA. Y'all all know that. We've seen several incidences where guys went from college to the NBA and were unsuccessful. Patino did it. Calipari did it. I mean, there's just so many that you can think of that tried it, that did it at a very big level in college and weren't successful in the NBA. From NBA to college, I can't, you see that type of thing. Larry Brown is coached back and forth from college to the NBA. So I'm sure it could work. But if I'm Patrick Ewing, man, I feel some type of way that I have to go and do this. On one hand, I'm happy because it's Georgetown, it's my alma mater, so I would definitely consider it if I were him. But on the other hand, like I'm saying to myself, damn, I put 15 years in coaching in the NBA. I want to coach the NBA. I've never coached college. And then also with college, man, you have to go out and recruit. You have to be a guy that can be a people person. And that's something that they kind of have talked about in Patrick Ewing not being the greatest people person. Kind of a little bit like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I don't know how true that is, but you got to go out and convince 17, 18-year-old kids to come play college basketball for you. That's half the job. As a matter of fact, I'd say that's more than half the job. You could be an average coach, but if you got the best players in America, that's 90% of their damn job. So if you can't go out and do that, you're not going to be successful. Can Patrick Ewing do that? We don't know because he's never done it before. The man has been in the NBA his entire time. So I get it if he wants to do it because it's home. I think most of y'all probably would understand if he did take the opportunity. And first of all, we don't even know if they're going to give him the opportunity. It kind of feels like that's the right thing to do is to interview him and give him serious consideration for that job. But we don't know if Georgetown's even going to make the offer. We don't even know if he wants the job. We don't even know if he gets the job, if he's going to be a good recruiter. We don't know. He's never been a head coach before. We don't even know if he's going to be a good head coach. There's a guy that's rooted for Georgetown since the mid-'80s, once again, when John Thompson made that program relevant. I would like to see him get the job and get the opportunity. He may go on to be the greatest college basketball coach of all time. We don't know. So if they're going to consider him, man, I wouldn't be mad at it. I think it would be a good thing. He does have a national brand where kids that he goes out and recruits, their parents going to know of him. So he'll get a little bit of bonus points, brownie points, I guess. So he does have that in his favor. I don't know, man. I like, even though technically, he's not technically, he's not John Thompson's son or a family member, so it won't be a Thompson as the head coach. But I think you can consider Patrick Ewing as part of the John Thompson coaching tree. I do. So I wouldn't be mad at all if they offered him the job. Rough Buff in the chat room on Spreaker.com. He says, growing up, I used to think Georgetown was an all-black school. I did too. Right. I did too. I think most of America did, because you never heard about Georgetown before they became popular in the mid-'80s for basketball. You never even heard of the school. Most people never heard of the school, okay? And then when you watch Georgetown play, not one, not two, not most, but every player on the team was black. Even the darn ball boy was black. Yeah. So it was interesting to find out after the fact that this is this elite, school, and, it's damn near Ivy League. Like, I don't think it's Ivy League. I don't think they talk about it. I don't think it's actually an Ivy League school, but it's in the same conversation as far as academically. And they got a black coach. They got all the black players. I mean, they wore the Ewing high-top sneakers, so they had a little attitude. Like, Georgetown is the first team that I remember, and we may have talked about this a couple of weeks ago. I think Georgetown is the first basketball team, and y'all tell me in the chat room, Stewies, if I'm wrong. Georgetown is the first basketball team that I remember that wore non-white sneakers. Now, I'm trying to think. When Magic Johnson and Larry Bird had the weapons, you remember the weapons, the Converse? So those were kind of like multicolored or whatever. But that's kind of like during the same time where Georgetown became relevant, and they wore the black or the blue, the dark blue and gray Nike, the Hoyas. They call them the Hoyas. And, I don't remember a basketball team that wore any different color sneaker other than white until the Georgetown Hoyas. Yeah. And so I mean, just a huge brand in basketball, man. From DC Cavalier, story about Georgetown. It is a white Catholic school, but they caught the G2 Metro bus over to Howard University, which is where all the players got their women from. Wow. From Andre Elam, damn Georgetown, how about them Tar Heels tonight? Yes, I got Tar Heels winning it all. From Wody 504, wait, Georgetown's not an all-black school? Laugh out loud. Right, I don't know if you're joking or not, but it came to a lot of people's surprise once you started to hear more about the school and research about the school that, yeah, the whole school, Georgetown is not an HBCU. Yeah. From, what do we have here? Let's see. From DC Cavalier, I'd like to see a guy like local homeboys Tommy Amico or Johnny Dawkins come home to coach GU, but they are Duke guys for what it's worth. Yeah, that ain't going to happen. And so I guess what DC Cavalier is saying is those guys grew up around there in the DC area. So Tommy Amaker and Johnny Dawkins, both from the DC, I guess maybe the DMV area. Good coaches, have done a lot of good things, but, yeah, I mean, that'd be blasphemous. Like, it's almost as blasphemous as when Shaq put on a Boston Celtics uniform. Yeah, that was blasphemous. Like, it'd be just as blasphemous if they gave a Duke guy the head coaching job at Georgetown. Like, I just can't even envision that. But maybe so. So I was watching PTI yesterday, and they were throwing out some names. It was actually Jason Williams, a former Duke player, and Kornheiser. Wilbon wasn't there. And they were throwing out names, and I think Jason Williams threw out Danny Hurley's name. Why the hell would they give Danny Hurley that job? Like, Danny Hurley is from Jersey, and I think he coaches – where does he coach right now? Danny Hurley, and I'm trying to pull it up right now. This is a perfect